We are Sweet and Salty. This is Sweet.
Hi guys.
I'm Salty. We've got Spicy, my wife, in the background, but I don't think she's going to be piping in too often. She's working on stuffed animals right now. Today we've decided to play a game called Crimson Gray. Kind of the point of our channel is to do horror and or cute games, and this looks like it kind of falls under both categories.
Realistically, he just wants to play the horror because I'm the world's giantest sissy, but it's fine.
Absolutely. Alright, and we would appreciate... So let's commence and see what happens with this incredibly weird game.
The artwork's pretty.
I don't like the art.
John had always thought of himself as a stable person. Click.
That's like the first sign of insanity.
Yeah, right.
I'm stable.
You always think that you're the one that's okay and everybody else is crazy.
That is literally the definition of your life.
Huh.
Stability worked out well when he was just trying not to let the little things get him down. It wasn't so great when everything was crumbling around him. When the entire world started seeming gray and flat, then he began wondering if all that stability would kill him and if he would care when it did.
Stability.
Shut up.
Stability.
They weren't any highs or lows anymore. Whatever happened to him, John didn't feel happy or sad. He just...
Hey, what are you doing? Spacing out, man.
You're a real hard case these days, John.
You going to float away on us?
Sorry. Just distracted. A moment later, he started drifting away again. Even his friends' voices were nothing but buzzing in his ears, meaningless sounds echoing in his hollow shell. They weren't even really his friends. They were friends with the happy-go-lucky person he'd been at the beginning of high school. What the fuck happened to this kid?
Yeah, right.
These days, they joked about him being no fun, but it was more than a joke. They'd get tired of him, find someone else, and then he'd be all alone. He wasn't sure whether or not that would be worse. What would be worse?
I feel like John isn't as stable as he led us to believe.
Right. Whoa, is that creepy chick staring at us?
I think she is. Who's that anyway?
Lizzie Doss, I think, in our gear, right? John, doesn't she have math with you or something?
It took John a second to even register the question. They were staring at some girl who was staring back at them. Well, she's cute.
Yeah.
Worst thing that could happen.
Oh, shit!
Damn, she is really staring. Skip that, apparently.
Is she staring at us or John?
I think it's him. Haha, you think she's a stalker?
Yeah, that's foreshadowing.
When did we get her name?
Yeah, those are some crazy eyes. Haha, you better watch out, John.
You're such a real sad sack these days, but I bet you can do better than her. Shut up. The words were past his lips before he could stop them. Why did he have to open his mouth now, of all times? But he couldn't let them keep talking about her like that. People called him creepy or crazy all the time. He hated it. But after those two words, he just stood there like an idiot. Even when nothing mattered to him, he couldn't pull himself together.
Oh, this is pretty dark. What's wrong with you, man?
Don't say things like that about people you don't know. She's just hanging out up here like we are. No. She's giving us some serious crazy eyes.
Her eyes look super normal.
Just leave her alone, okay? She hasn't done anything to you.
Maybe they're racist and don't like blonde-haired, blue-eyed people.
Well,
I mean, maybe
the only
they're
thing creepy
Jews.
about her is she's like kind of praying. Like, what's she doing?
She's holding her heart because she's lonely.
Maybe she's having a heart attack. Maybe they should call 911.
Yeah. Sheesh, okay, man.
You think she's going to fall in love with you as her handsome protector or something?
That'd be just like John.
You want to talk about crazy girl? Go talk to the crazy girl. Be our guest. We're heading back to class. Let's go, mate.
Don't wait up, man.
The way her eyes moved, John thought that she was focused on him so immersely that she might not have even heard what the other said.
I love your little mistakes. It's
Do
awesome.
it even bother her? He wishes he could be like that, instead of the smallest of things sending him crashing into a state of worthlessness. But maybe she was like him, just capable of hiding it. John cleared his throat and walked up to check on her.
You having a heart attack there, bitch? Yeah, you dying? You need me to call 911?
Hey, sorry about them. They can be real assholes sometimes. Yeah, they can. Is she mute?
Yeah, apparently she doesn't have a whole lot to say.
Boys are jerks.
I guess I don't have a lot to say. Sorry if we bothered you.
I want to know how we know her name. She never told us her name.
No, the main
She's
character
we're
was
in
like...
math class with
Yeah.
her. They already explained that.
John was like, it's Lizzie Doss.
Well, I'm going to shut up.
Yeah.
John slunk away and cursed his own idiocy. She had been fine without him. He just made everything worse. It seems a little dramatic.
Right.
There had been something hard in her eyes, a strength he didn't have. He had probably been projecting all his weakness onto her in the first place. She wasn't like him, wasn't broken. She could shrug off the things his friends had said, and get on with her life. Shut up. At least that meant she could shrug off her annoyance too. She probably just forgot all about him. ...
Huh.
Fuck.
Such a space
Thank
net. I hate
you.
that when you're like staring off in space and just thinking a thought, and then you realize you're like staring at someone, and now you're the creepy girl in the room.
Yeah, look at... She's got a little
That
bit...
face. That
she's
is absolutely
yeah.
I'm gonna murder you face.
little bit of creep factor going on.
This girl's been staring at you for 10 minutes, and then she just gets this slow smile. Yeah, I agree. Kate, I take it back, dude. She's totally creepy.
You're so kind, such a kind person, the kindest person, the only person. I think I got to tell you, I've got a cold right now, so next time I won't be as scratchy. But I think it kind of works for her, so we'll go with it. I found you. I finally found you. I found you, found you.
Oh god, she had like a full teethy smile. What the fuck just
Wait, what?
happened?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
The teacher's voices were incomprehensible, but John knew he must be picking it up at some level.
This has got to be in the past because we know she just murdered him.
Yeah.
He wasn't sure how, but even though he stumbled through every day, he was doing okay in school. He could see normal whenever he wanted to. It just didn't feel worth it. It was almost the worst part. He seemed normal, even though nothing was normal anymore. It wouldn't even be normal again. I'm real sorry about reading these. I can't see the TV very well. What did Miss Smith say? High functioning depression, such an awful empty phrase. There we go.
It's great that we can make adjustments to things.
Yep.
Right?
At least class was over now. He could go home, sleepwalk through his assignment, and then fall unconscious, at least for a few hours. He could. Then he became aware of her. She was watching him, again, because she's secretly planning to murder him.
And she just kind of sits there and groans
She's wondering how the liver would taste.
Maybe she wanted to thank him? No, he was being stupid. He'd done nothing worth thanking. More likely she wanted something from him, or most likely of all, maybe she didn't care about him and he was imagining the whole thing. That's probably more likely. She was still staring, though. Still staring.
Oh.
Oh. We
Choices.
Pick something.
Do we want to try and ditch her all the time? Should we flee?
No, smiled at her. Fake that smile, John.
Alright, let's fake it for her.
Fake it till you make it. Her expression was impossible to read. Was she shy? Was she embarrassed for him? Either way, he doubted it mattered. This game apparently has multiple endings, so obviously the route we pick, this time may or may not lead to our death. It's fine.
Yeah, well.
He needed to get to his appointment anyway. He didn't want Miss Smith getting mad at him again.
His appointment with the...
Miss Smythe, it's Smythe, not Smith, was one of the only people John could focus on. He wasn't sure how much good she actually did him, aside from prescribing medicine, but at least she tried to help.
Dope him up. The American way.
She's a thick girl. John, you're not looking so bad today. Did something good happen? Because she's on all kinds of medicine, too.
Yeah, she prescribes herself a little something.
A boy your age ought to be more interested in girls. Are you dating someone? No, I can't focus on people.
Where the fuck did she find a gray houseplant?
Maybe I could prescribe something for that. You don't have anything on hand now, but I could get it quickly. That's the advantage of having Toki Tech in town. Koi Tech? I don't know.
Koi Tech, huh?
Koi Tech. I don't want to take this medicine anymore. I don't think it's working. The pack sting? But that's the first one you've really responded to. I feel worse. Everything is so gray. Voices just echo. Can I go back to the generic medicine? John, you need to understand that you are deeply clinically depressed. It's my professional opinion that you should under no conditions go off your medication. When you're getting used to a medicine, there can be some initial side effects. Something have to get worse before they get better, okay? Okay. All he heard was that he was too broken for any drug to fix. He was so worthless, even the newest drugs from Koi Tech didn't do anything. I'll renew your Paxtine prescription and see what getting you a complimentary drug. We'll figure this out yet, John.
Let's just stack more on top of it.
Yeah! Now, why don't you lie down over there and we can begin our session. Good. Get comfortable. She seems very weepy.
Yeah.
Did anything special happen during the day today? No, it was a normal day. The therapy session quickly fell into a meaningless buzz. For a short time at least, he didn't feel the emptiness.
Really? It's those big boobies.
Yeah, right? Finally, or too soon, it was over. Miss Smythe told him he was doing well and sent him on his way. John slumped back home. The house was empty, like it always was. Ever since his mother left, his father spent all his time working. He did his homework, he ate, he cleaned the dishes, he sat down in front of the TV and stared at it without turning it on. Somehow...
I love that blank TV channel.
Yes, right? Somehow, he dragged himself into bed and fell asleep. The routine used to be comforting, but now it was starting to erode his sanity.
That channel is blacker than the blackest black.
So when Josh always ends up, or Salty always ends up watching when, he falls asleep on the couch and says he's watching the television.
I am always watching the television, even with my eyes closed.
Lies. His mind had to crack eventually. Maybe it was already happening. For a second, he thought he saw a girl out the window. Would she have blonde hair?
Is this a rape game?
But no, there was nothing. Of course there wasn't. He really was losing it. I mean, the main tag on this was sexual content. I'm terrified.
God, that's true. I forgot about that.
Her first video.
I didn't know it. It looks like a normal visual novel.
Welcome to Salty and Sweet's first YouTube channel.
Sweet and Salty.
We're gonna show you porn.
I mean...
I feel like sex sells.
Sex sells,
True.
exactly.
Another day. He had to face it somehow. It seemed impossible until the moment he finally stumbled into class. School was the usual mindless buzz. There was a job fair announced in third period, as if that meant anything at all. Almost everyone in their school would either go to work for Koi Tech, move away, or stay in town and become unemployed.
Oh, so Koi Tech is not only the drug company, but it's a local drug company that is seemingly controlling this town from the underground or from the background.
John,
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. John wondered which one of those would happen to him, but from a distance, as if he were thinking about some person he barely knew. His grades were good enough to get into Koi Tech, but the process was so competitive. No, he didn't have enough energy for that. He couldn't imagine moving away, looking for a job in a strange city. Most mornings, the most he could imagine was surviving the day. This guy is real fucked up.
Yeah.
But his father wouldn't support him, and his mother didn't want him. Once he graduated, there'd be no way he could stay with either of them.
Yeah, I thought that Lizzie was the one that was supposed to be messed up, and apparently this kid is far more fucked up than she is.
I mean, what is it that Spicy always says? Negativity breeds negativity?
Yeah.
What would happen to him then? Would he just become homeless? sit there on the street begging for change until one night he froze to death. Jesus! Maybe that was all he deserved. And it gets better.
Yeah. John, are you alright?
Sorry, sir. I'm paying attention. Honestly.
I didn't ask that. I asked if you were alright.
I'm fine.
Well, be sure to talk to the counselor if you're feeling bad, alright? We're lucky to have someone like Mrs. Smythe with us. That's a little creepy, too.
Why don't you mind your own business? I know that you're required by the school board to try to educate me, but if I talk to her on a regular basis, why are you telling me to go see to her? Huh?
John just turned into like a valley girl.
He had to keep it together. He remembered the lessons, but if people were starting to think that something was wrong, his control was slipping. He had enough time to visit his locker in between periods. There was more Paxtine there. He still had an extra dose left for the day.
Take 'em all.
His locker was on the bottom row, so he always had to bend down, and there was a piece of paper sitting in the middle of his locker.
Cheer up!
That was all it said. Nothing on the backside. No other clues. Probably a girl's handwriting. Who left it? Hey, did you see anyone messing with my locker?
Huh? Did something get stolen? There's way too many guys around here for me to notice.
It might have been a girl leaving a note.
Like a love note? Keep dreaming, John. You think any girl is going to love your sorry ass?
No, of course, no one could love him. So, you didn't see anyone? Okay, thanks.
Hey, John, you going to tell me she's a Canadian?
What do you think it's Canadians?
What the
I'm heading back to class. See you later.
And she's really hot, right? Your imaginary girlfriend sounds amazing.
John knew he should probably just take some more Paxine and head to class, yet he was still holding onto the paper. He wasn't sure why. It really could be a prank, one of the guys trying to trick him. If so, it would probably be followed by another fake note asking him to come out under the stupid confession tree where they'd let him wait and then laugh at him. Oh.
Poor John.
But for just a moment, he saw the girl watching him. Could it have been her? By the time he got to class, John had made a new theory. She felt sorry for him. He must have looked pretty pathetic, and she recognized his misguided good intentions enough to feel pity.
Of course, no one can love me.
Oh no, woe is me. The rest of the school day passed in more of a blur than usual. He might be delusional, but part of John still hoped it wasn't a prank. He headed to his locker, not daring to imagine anything, and there was another paper waiting there for him.
They shouldn't say those things about you.
Oh, shit. Wait, do you notice the handwriting's different?
Yeah.
Okay. It didn't even look like the same person's handwriting. The first had been a beautiful calligraphy. This one was a hurried scrawl. So one's the demon inside her and one's her.
Apparently we've
We're
got
gonna find
multiple
out that
girls.
John's really both characters.
Yeah.
Yes!
Dun,
Plot
dun.
twist. If it was all a prank, he no longer had any idea where they were going with this. We'd already been beating himself up, saying the wrong thing, so this was too much for John. He headed straight home to get some sleep before he cracked completely.
And all the king's horses and all the king's men wouldn't be able to put him together again.
The next day, John went as early as possible and approached his locker anxiously. He wasn't sure what he wanted to find. A dick. But there was no note this time, but there was a chocolate heart wrapped in foil, set in the exact center of the bottom of his locker. Yeah, I don't think it's chocolate, brah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
open,
and
there's a
it
real
was
heart.
like inside his locker, like set deliberately down.
Right.
So it's not like she's pushing it through the slot or the little slats. She's actually got access to your locker already, dog. You best be running.
John stared at it for a while, then slipped it into his pocket and headed to class, even though he knew he would be far too early. That's why she was really holding her chest. She just ripped out her heart, and
Yeah.
wrapped it in tinfoil and put it in his locker.
Ugh.
There was no way he could eat it. If it was really a prank, they would have slipped a laxative or something inside of it. That was the kind of thing his friends thought was funny.
It's the new medicine from Koi Tech.
Poops a lot. But if it was that girl, it didn't matter now. What mattered was that someone clearly knew his locker combination and could get in it whenever they wanted. That
Good
could
job.
be a real problem.
Good job realizing that, John. Congratulations.
He knew he should come up with a solution before tomorrow. But what? Oh, jeez. Tell the teacher, tell Miss Smythe, try to keep watch on the locker, replace the lock, or leave a note. Let's leave a note. John cut a small piece of paper from one of his notebooks and wrote thanks on the inside and set it in his locker.
Really? That's the note you choose to leave?
Right? If it was a prank, that ought to throw the prankster off, and if it was someone who meant well, hopefully they'd take it as normal gratitude. He headed home, and once his homework was done, quickly fell asleep. The next morning, he thought he spotted someone outside his window, but there was no one there.
Oh, there's someone there,
There was
bro.
absolutely someone there. When he opened his locker the next day, his note was gone. Making an effort to set the mystery of the locker aside, John went with his friends on the rooftop for lunch. They spread out on one side, enjoying the sight of the trees below. Alright, this game is super weird, and I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen, but I think this is probably a good place to stop the first video.
So we'll get back to this one next time on Sweet and Salty. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing and liking our video on the bottom there.
Click that bell.
Yep, click the bell so you'll get the alerts on new videos when they come out. We should be posting one every day here. So if you like us, let us know.